All right, right now I'm joined by my other cats, my other dogs. You know who they are, LaVar Arrington and Takeo Spikes, guys. And we're going to start off in New England right now. Where yesterday Robert Kraft announced the first portion of a pledge, $1 million to social justice causes in a virtual ceremony honoring the Patriots' Devin McCourty. But if you listen to Kraft's remarks, sounds like McCourty wasn't the only player on his mind last night. What you got to say, Kraft? Takeo, you think Kraft's gotten over Brady leaving New England?
I think he has, though. He sees the big picture. Look, when you look at what he's been able to do or the lack of what Brady was able to do 3 years after he turned 40, they saw that he had the least amount of pass yards, the lowest his completion percentage has ever been, and also the lack of not having a lot of TDs. And so when you see that as ownership, as a business move, you have to do what's best for the body. I'm not saying that Tom Brady doesn't have any worth by no stretch of the imagination. But I think ultimately, overall, when you look at what they were able to do over a 20-year time period, 6 Super Bowl wins, when you look at the tandem together, being able to have the most playoff wins as a head coach and quarterback, the most Super Bowl wins, and then the most playoff wins, I think it's fair to say that, you know what, I can wash my hands with this because I've gotten all I could get out of this relationship.
You know, I got to say no. And the reason why I say no is purely from the football perspective of it. This is like grieving a loss, right? Like the personal relationship of it is fine. But when you think about what they have built through the years between Robert and Tom, it's going to have to be Robert Kraft going through a season before he can get over it. It's going to be, you know, when you lose that loved one, it hurts the most on their birthdays. It hurts the most on holidays, Christmas time, different things like that. I started immediately thinking there's probably a routine that Tom Brady and Robert Kraft had on Fridays, on Saturdays, on Sundays. What was his pregame deal, pregame meals? What were those conversations? What was it like for Robert Kraft traveling to the stadium? What was he thinking about as it applied to Tom? Sitting in his owner's box, what was his routine before he watched Tom Brady do what he did? So I think until Robert Kraft relives those moments connected to all of those amazing years of being with Tom Brady, there's no way he could even possibly begin to say he's over Tom Brady being gone, Marcellus.
Oh, man, I think he's certainly moved on in terms of Tom Brady being in a Patriots uniform. Absolutely. It's one of the fundamental traits of success, the ability to compartmentalize. And that's what you're going to see right here in terms of his mindset going forward. Even if he has to force that as an effort, he still has to get to that place. And you know why? Because the only thing that you value more than winning is more winning. The only thing you value more than money is more money. And there's no more winning and money in investing your energy into Tom Brady. He's gone. So you got to think about it from that perspective going forward. And who was Tom Brady last seen to Bill Belichick and to Bob Kraft? This was a guy who won an MVP at the age of 40. But since 2017, all of his major metrics were in decline. Like, keep it real. Let's not just talk about Brady at his height. Let's talk about Brady when he was last seen on that field. Yes, lack of weapons around him, but still Tom Brady wasn't living up to even his own name of being Tom Brady. So the only way that Kraft can stay as invested in this team and as committed to this team and their success going forward is to let go of the past. A lot of people in this world are scared to dance on the grave of someone. They're like, oh, it's too soon. We always see it, hashtag too soon. But you know what the flip of that is? It's time to move on. I understand you got to give the production at times of how heartfelt the loss is. But in reality, you got to build going forward. We should learn something from our pandemic and all of our text messages where everybody expected you to be down because everything was going down around you. Sometimes you got to be greater than your circumstances to move forward.
Yeah, and I agree with you too, Marcellus, because another point that factors into this is when you look at who is the guy who is in waiting, who is the backup quarterback, well, everybody knows Jarrett Stidham is going to be that guy. He has shown promise when you talk to a lot of guys coming out of that locker room to where, you know what, this could be another person in the making. I'm not saying 6 championships down the line, but a guy who understands the pedigree, spent some time up under Tom Brady to learn and see what he does on a consistent basis. And so, like you said, I couldn't agree with you more. When you're running this type of organization, you really have to sit back, look at the numbers, and say, you know what? Who carries the most weight going forward, leading this team back to another championship? Yeah. And that boils down to Coach Belichick.
I still got to push back on you guys because I think you guys are separating the sentimental value connected to all of this. And I get looking at the numbers and placing it on the field. But again, when you look at what this relationship has meant, what it has meant to the team and to the city, I just don't think that it's as simple as saying, oh, we're going to move on. We got to rebuild. Here comes Stidham. We're good. Let's keep, he's not making us any money anymore. His production is going down. No. I don't think that we have to make this into a negative. And I almost feel like it's a negative connotation to say, I'm not over my guy being gone. It's not a negative to say that I'm not over it. You know what? If Stidham doesn't do well and they're losing games, I know the first thing that Robert Kraft's going to be sitting there while he's in his owner's box. I wonder if we would have won with Tom, even if Tom isn't playing that well.
Oh, man.
Everything is going to be related. It's going to be related back to Tom. So in order for him to be able to really get through this and get over it and look at it from the perspective that you guys are presenting, I think he's going to have to live it before he can say, you know what, I am definitely over it. We have moved on at the right time. I feel good about it. I think the sentimental value of it outweighs everything that's being discussed right now.
Great point in terms of don't make it a negative, but I give it to you realer than that. I personalize it, and I know you guys can certainly relate. Y'all know I've been engaged 4 different times before being happily married like I've been for the last 5 years. But let me tell you, every single time I had those breakups, I was at that club that night. I was moving on, brother. That night, I was in them streets trying to say, you know what, it's time to move forward. And then there is a lonely Wednesday here or there, and you're like, eating a bowl of chili, watching some reruns, like, oh, I miss her. But you know what? You still move forward, and that's Bob Kraft right now. He's moving forward. He's at the club. He's in the streets already, moving past what Tom Brady represented to them, because you got to look at it. He's the owner of the next man up mentality. Don't get caught up in the good cop, bad cop relationship that's happening in New England. And we know Belichick's the bad cop. But who empowers Belichick? Who's the owner? Where's all of this power coming from in terms of resources and bank account? That's Bob Kraft. Bob Kraft is a mastermind in terms of having cover because of Bill Belichick doing all the dirty work. And then Bob Kraft could come around and hug everybody. I love all you guys. Hey, you know what? It was an amazing experience. But trust me, behind the veil, Bob Kraft has moved on.